Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name's Nicole, and welcome back to our English class. Another day, another English class. Now, for today's session, we are diving into another series. We will be having another series. Last time we had ended the series for conversational English. For today, we will start another series on English for travel. And our main focus for this session is all about airport vocabulary pronunciation. Those getting through the airport can sometimes feel like navigating a whole new world with its own special language, right? So, we are going to work on making sure you feel confident and you feel clear when you are saying those important airport words or vocabulary as a general. So we will be focusing on how to pronounce them correctly, which can really make a difference in how well you are understood. After this, we will definitely touch on our um other useful topics like hotel check-in vocabulary, but that's just, those areas and other areas for the series English for Travel. We will be tapping on those areas for another session because we'll have one area per session as much as possible. We do not want to have everything. We do not want to learn everything in one go because that might be overwhelming in your parts. Um we try to we try to ingest the knowledge for these particular areas under English for Travel um in appropriate time frame. All right, so let's start. Let's have one area per session. Would that be all right? I think that's a fair enough time that will be given to you for each area. One area per session. So yeah, again, we will start with airport vocabulary pronunciation. So let's start with mastering those airport terms, shall we? But are you all ready to get started? Are we all ready? All right. Okay, let's start right away. Let's start with the first set of vocabularies. First set of terms, starting with check in. Check in. Now, when you say check here, it really focuses on the short sound, like the in pen. Check, eh, check. So it's not a long like in C or um cheek. We do not want that because if there's a long sound, it will sound like cheek. So it's a body part already. Here, cheek. This is a cheek. This is a cheek. But we're trying to say check, right? So let's um let's relax our jaw more. Don't be too strict with the letter E sound. It's a short, relaxed sound. So check, check in. And then there's in here. Well, it's very quick. It's usually That's usually, but it's really not as unstressed here because among these two words, which are combined into one by hyphen, the first word check is emphasized. So let's try saying the term slowly. Check in. Check in. One more time. Check in. So feel the stress on check. Feel it? Good. So this is a very common term you will hear and use right at the beginning of your airport journey. Check in. Okay. Next is passport. Very important. Passport. This one has two distinct parts when it comes to pronunciation. We have I'm sorry. First is pass. That sound is that open sound. So your mouth will be more open here when we try to say the first syllable, which is pass. So the sound here is the same sound in cat or apple. So it is more open. Your mouth is more open. pass. So pass. So you really open your mouth, maybe a little on the sound there. Then we have the second syllable port. You can think of a harbor but with a T at the end. So ha, port, port, port. So the or sound here, it sounds a little bit longer. Port, not port, port, port. So let's try to say the word itself. Passport. One more time. Passport. Again, passport. All right. Now, this is very essential for your travel, for your trip, for your travel, for your vacation, because this is considered as a travel document. It's your identity. Your identity is there. So it is really important that you wouldn't be able to, lost it. Because that would be a bother. That would be a great inconvenience in your part. Yeah, passport. Next is boarding pass. Boarding pass. Again, boarding pass. Let's start with the first word. With its first syllable, board. We start with a board. You can think of a wooden plank, right? Board. So it has that or sound, a bit like door, bore, door, bore. So we have ing sound at the last, right, for the first word. Then this ending is quite soft and quick, almost like an in sound, but there's a sound there, so it's nasal. So it's a weak syllable, however, so don't emphasize it too much. Finally, on the word pass, again, that sound, same as with passport. Let's try it combining those three distinct sounds slowly. Boarding pass. Boarding pass. Together. Boarding pass. Excuse me. Yeah. You try to stress on the first syllable of the first word. Board. Boarding pass. One more time. Boarding pass. So this is what you need to show to get into the aircraft. All right. Let's have the next one, which is identification. This is a longer word, so let's break it down into syllables. We have identification. There's six distinct sounds. That's too many, but yeah, this is a longer word, so with longer syllables, with many syllables. So we have identification. The main stress is will fall on the uh, fourth syllable, which is ka. Am I correct? Identify. Oh no, it's on the fifth syllable, ka. So identification. The first word I has that long e sound, like saying the letter I, and then t, f are very quick. No, it's they those sounds are much quicker. When you get to a ka, make that syllable a bit stronger and slightly longer, and the ending is that shun sound, right? It sounds like nation, commotion, impression. So let's try say the word itself slowly. I, then, T, F, K, shun, identification. One more time, identification. All right. Finally, the last term for this set is visa. This one is very short compared to identification. Visa. So the key here is that there's long E sound in V. So visa, not visa, but visa. So you're likely going to listen the last part because there's a buzzing sound there. As you can see on the IP transcription, there's a letter Z sound there. So we try to say the word as as it is, like as how it is transcribed in the IPA. So since there is letter Z sound, we try to say visa, not visa. Visa, the one vibrating, the one buzzing. Visa, not visa. All right. Okay. Um, I think that's everything for the first set. So visa is the entry permission. So it is your permission to enter a country. Yeah, those are the first set of words. Check in, passport, boarding pass, identification, and visa. Let's immediately hop on to a time for practice. Let's have a practice drill. So I'll be giving we'll focus on the first set of words, and then I'll be giving a sentence that you will say with me. All right, starting with check in. Follow with me, all right? Check in. I need to go to the check in counter to get my boarding pass. I need to go to the check in counter to get my boarding pass. Check in. Passport. Passport. Please show your passport to the immigration officer. Please show your passport to the immigration officer. Passport. Boarding pass. Boarding pass. Don't forget to take your boarding pass with you to the gate. Don't forget to take your boarding pass with you to the gate. Boarding pass. Next, identification. Identification. You will need a valid form of identification, such as driver's license, to kind of like board the plane. Identification. And lastly, visa. Visa. Travelers from certain countries need a visa to enter the country. Visa. All right. Let's continue with another set of words. Here we have security. So when you enter the airport, one of the first major points you will encounter is security. It's very important. It's really essential that you look for that. There's is a crucial area where your boarding pass and identification are checked to, ensure you are a valid passenger. Following this initial check, you will proceed to have your carry-on luggage and personal items screened. You might hear announcements directing you to directing you to a different, how to call that, for a different security, right? Security checkpoints based on your gate or your class or how much did you travel. So for pronunciation wise, security, the important thing is to emphasize the second syllable Q, because it's the emphasis, it's the syllable stress Q. So when we try to say it and spell it, how it is, how we hear it, how it sounds, it would look like KYU. That's beginnings. That's like the first Benny member who woke up, which who is Stacy. So security, again, security. Next, metal detector. Metal detector. After the initial document check at security, you will need to pass through the metal detector. So this is a doorway like structure that uses electromagnetic fields to detect any metallic objects on your person. You will be asked to remove items like bolts, keys, and phones before walking through. So if the alarm sounds, you may be checked with a handled metal detector. So if the alarm sounds, then you are not following the rules. Well, pronunciation wise, it has a primary stress on tech, security. I know, metal detector. Sorry, where did I get security? But yeah, metal detector. So that's the emphasis, tech. The word metal has a short S sound, as in bed, metal. In detector, pay attention to the second syllable deck, which has, a very relaxed vowel sound, which we often call as schwa, sounding like a soft L sound. That's metal detector. Well, next, very familiar X-ray. Do I have to, you know, expand it? But yeah, I'm gonna give you like a little talk. X-ray, as we understand it, it scans the baggage. Instead of the person, it scans the baggage. So your carry-on bags and personal items will go through an X-ray machine on a conveyor belt. Now, security personnel monitor the images produced by the X-ray to identify any potentially dangerous or prohibited items. So that's X-ray for you. Again, X-ray. Fourth, liquids. You might be wondering what the liquids are. What do they mean with liquids? So, airport security has specific rules regarding liquids in carry-on luggage. Generally, they must be in containers of more than 100 milliliters. It's very, it's very just enough for consumption of one person. So yeah, it is similar to that. Lastly, prohibited items. Now, before going through security, it is impossible to know what prohibited items are. So these are the objects that, that are not allowed on the aircraft for safely, and not safely, more like safety, right? For their safety and the security reasons. So, list of prohibited items are usually displayed on airport websites and, at the security checkpoint. Examples include, of course, sharp objects, there's flammable substances, and certain tools to, get you this set of airport vocabulary. Now, pronunciation wise, stress on the second syllable of prohibited. So, prohibited. And then you may be confiscated. Well, the pronunciation here is very easy. It, yeah, it is the second syllable as stressed. What do you call that? Prohibited items. Prohibited items. So, the monster will be expecting you to stress on the second syllable. Alright, let's immediately hop into another practice drill. Same process, same pattern. There's a word and there's a corresponding sentence using the word. First, security. Security. Airport security checks all bags for prohibited items. Are you following with me? Like, are you reading the sentence with me? Because I want you to do that. I want you to be really involved, despite that there's a physical barrier in terms of the teaching, because you cannot really talk to me. You know, com, you cannot really how, where am I? But yeah, this is security. Airport security checks all bags for prohibited items. Next, metal detector. You have to walk through the metal detector at the security checkpoint. Next, X-ray. X-ray. All luggage goes through the X-ray machine. Make sure that you are following with me, that you are reading the sentences with me, that those sentences that includes the words that are related to their, to their task. So let's try to take it easy. Lastly, not I think this is not the last one, but yeah, liquids. Liquids in containers larger than 100 ml are not allowed in carry-on baggage. Liquids in containers larger than 100 ml are not allowed in carry-on baggage. And lastly, prohibited items. Knives and guns are prohibited items and cannot be taken on the plane. Knives and guns are prohibited items and cannot be taken on the plane. Okay, those those so far we have already had discussed like 10 terms on airport context, words that are commonly used in the airport. So let's continue let's continue everything. Let's continue airport vocabulary pronunciation with another set of words or terms, starting with boarding. Very easy. We're familiar with boarding, right? In boarding pass. So this is the exciting moment when you actually get to step into the aircraft. So the boarding process, it usually begins around 30 to 45 minutes before the scheduled departure time, right? You will hear announcements like attention passengers of flight AC789, for instance, to, Vancouver. Boarding will commence in 10 minutes at gate by B25. So the announcement will usually specify the flight number, the destination, the gate, and where the boarding will take place. So, yeah, pronunciation wise, the emphasis is on the first syllable, board, boarding. Okay, boarding. One more time, boarding. Now, next, gate. So, your gate is essentially the doorway or access point from the airport terminal to the aircraft. That's gate. The airport information screens are usually for finding your designated gate, and it's always wise to double check in case of any last minute changes. Once you arrive at your goals, there will usually be a waiting area until boarding begins. You might hear announcements specific to your gate, such as passengers waiting a gate A12 for flight KL678 to Amsterdam. Please have your word or have your boarding passes ready. The pronunciation, well, it comes to pronunciation wise, you know, we cannot really run away from it with it. From it. So yeah, we stress on board. I've already mentioned this one. It's the sound. Next, we have depart. Again, depart. So this verb, it indicates the moment your aircraft, you know, leaves the airport. To depart, depart. You leave the airport. The airport is now um flying, almost flying. So that's departing. That's leaving. Now, the scheduled departure time is what you will see on your ticket and on the flight information screen, right? Don't show it on. Well, you cannot see, they cannot see you. But yeah, then show it at least in our group. So you might hear announcements like flight OH321 to Chicago is now ready to depart from gate C18. It has its annoying side, depart, but it also has its charming side. Yeah. Moving on from that, there's on time. When a flight is listed as on time, it's good news. It means that everything is proceeding according to the schedule and that the departure is expected to kind of like happen at the original planned time. You will see this display on airport screens, often in, green. However, it's always wise to stay near your gate. Well, that's what I learned. Stay in your gate in case of any unexpected changes. So the pronunciation, it almost give, equal emphasis to both words. On time. On has a clear O sound like in hot at and also not. Time has that classic I diphthong as in my or line. All right. Moving on to the last one, delayed. Delayed. Unfortunately, flight delays, which are very common occurrence in air travel due to various factors such as weather, technical issues, or even air traffic traffic congestion, traffic above. That happens too. Traffic will not, yeah, traffic will always be there. So let's try to drive accordingly. Okay. Pronunciation wise, well, yeah, meaning is held up. But when pronunciation tips are open or revealed, they he just looks, nice. Depart. I delayed. I'm sorry. Delayed. Late. All right. These are another set of airport vocabulary pronunciation. Let's immediately have a time to practice. It's very important that we consistently practice everything that we learn so that it will really be, attached, lodged to our mind that will make it more natural to say those words, which is, of course, our aim, right? Being able to naturally and fluently speak English without the pressure of, having to also just say your Tagalog, right? So it's time to practice. Well, very easy, same pattern, same process. There's a word and its corresponding sentence, and I want you, all of you, to say the sentence with me. I trust you. Starting with boarding. Boarding will begin 30 minutes before the flight. Boarding begins will begin to in 30 minutes before the flight. Gate. Our flight attendant, I'm sorry. Our flight is departing from gate B12. Where did I get attended? But yeah, our flight is departing from gate B12. Depart. The plan is scheduled to depart at 10 a.m. The plan is scheduled to depart at 10 a.m. On time. Luckily, our flight is on time. Luckily, our flight is on time. I'm sorry to announce that flight BA243 is delayed due to bad weather. Oh no! BA243 is delayed. So, I think your luck is running out. Well, pronunciation wise, let's try to, focus still on here. Pronunciation wise, delayed. Um, the second syllable late, it screens for delayed is aptitude. So here, the first syllable de has a short d e sound, delayed. Then it's followed by late, where it has a diphthong sound, delayed. Again, delayed. Next, okay, we have another set of airport vocabulary pronunciation. I think this is still not the last, right? Yeah, it's still not. Well, yeah. Let's just go back to nah, yeah. Well, yeah. Let's continue with another set of airport vocabulary, starting with arrival. Arrival. So the moment of arrival, it marks the end of your flight. And, well, let's try to be more inspiring. It's the beginning of your time in a new place. So upon arrival, you will follow signs, you usually clearly marked arrivals, which will lead you through the airport towards immigration. So, arrivals. Pronunciation wise, the emphasis is on the second syllable. Arrival. So that sounds like it. Rival. Next, baggage claim. Baggage claim. After you disembark from the plane, wow, disembark, but yeah, same thought. You will need to head to baggage claim to retrieve any luggage you checked in. So, baggage claim. Following the signs, often with a suitcase icon that say baggage claim. Once here, look at the information screens with which will indicate which carousel your flight's luggage will be on. So be patient. It can sometimes take, it can take a while for all the bags to appear. So let's just be wait. Okay. Next is suitcase. Suitcase. So for this set, it's more of this of the thing itself, of a thing. Suitcase. A suitcase is probably the most common type of luggage travelers use, whether it has wheels and a retractable handle or is a simple soft-sided bag. A suitcase holds your personal belongings for your trip. So you'll either carry a smaller suitcase onto the plane, or check a larger one into the hold upon arrival at baggage claim. Okay, right? Pronunciation wise, we stress on the baggage claim. Claim. Let's try to understand the person too. Well, yeah, suitcase. Next, lost and found. Again, lost and found. Hopefully, you won't need to visit the lost and found office, but it's good to know where it is in case your luggage or other belongings go missing within the airport. So, this office deals with items that have been misplaced or found within the airport premises. So, if your suitcase doesn't arrive on the carousel, the lost and found is where you will need to report it. Lost and found. Okay. Next, customs. Again, customs. If you have arrived on an international flight, you'll need to proceed through customs after collecting your luggage. So here, customs official may ask you questions about what you are bringing into the country and may inspect your bags. You will likely have had to, fill out a customs declaration from during your flight, listing any terms you need to declare. Be honest and follow the instructions carefully. The pronunciation is customs. Customs. So stress on the first syllable, which has a short O sound, like in cup. Second part is toms like mm. So yeah, customs. So these are the another set of words: airport, arrival, baggage claim, suitcase lost and found, and customs. Let's immediately hop on its practice drill. Same pattern, same process. Make sure that you're reading the sentence with me, okay? I want you to do that. Arrival. The arrival of the flight from New York is 3 p.m. The arrival of the flight from New York is at 3 p.m. Next, baggage claim. Go to baggage claim to pick up your suitcases. Go to baggage claim to pick up your suitcases. Suitcase. My suitcase is red and has the wheels. Lost and found. If you can find your luggage, go to the lost and found office. Customs. After baggage claim, we have to go through customs. All right. Very good, everyone. Excellent. I think it's all clear with you, but if you have any clarification, you can always reach out to me through our chatbot. Yeah. Going back, we are already down. Wait, is this correct? Yeah, I think it's correct. Yeah. Going back on airport vocabulary pronunciation, let's have another set of words. Starting with flight attendant. Okay, flight attendant. So these are dedicated individuals that they face the airline during your flight. So flight attendants are primarily responsible for your safety, like they demonstrate emergency procedures right at the beginning before the actual takeoff. There should be an idea already um on the coronation night. I what's the coronation? But yeah, on the airport when it's already flying, there's flight attendants. All right. Pronunciation wise, the word flight has a distinct I sound, right? Like in bright. There's a diphthong there, I. And when we say diphthong again, be reminded a diphthong is when a vowel sound smoothly glides to another vowel sound. So vowel sound plus vowel sound, we get diphthong. So here, the diphthong would be this one, A and I. That's a diphthong sound. Fly, I, flight attendant. All right. Next is connecting flight. Again, connecting flight. So for many longer journeys, you might have a connecting flight, meaning you will take one plane to an intermediate or airport and then, another plane to your final destination. So you basically just fly to another plane after flying to a plane. You fly those two planes consequently. No, you fly those planes as much as possible. No, not fly, but you ride those planes um with very few time intervals. Time intervals being specific, a few hours only, right? So that's connecting flight. Next is window seat. Oh no. If you enjoy looking out at the scenery during your flight or like having a place to lean against to sleep, you might prefer a window seat. These seats are located right next to the windows of the aircraft, as the name implies. So you keep in mind that if you are in a window seat, you might need ask your seatmates, you right, to like move if you need to get up or to use the bathroom. Now, pronunciation wise, there's emergency exit. No, window seat. We're still in window seat. I forgot. But yeah, we're still window seat. Pronunciation wise, you emphasize both on when. That's the emphasis, I think. And then seat, which is you wear a seat, obviously. Then no, O in window to make a long O sound. So those are pronunciation tips. Window seat. Next, aisle seat. If you prefer having more freedom to get up and move around during the flight, or you want easier access to the overhead bins, an aisle seat might be your preference. Now, these sets are located right next to the walkway or aisle that, runs through the cabin. If you are in an aisle seat, be mindful of the trolley carts that the flight attendants push down the aisle. You might hurt yourself. Now, pronunciation wise, you stress on aisle, like aisle seat. The first word, you stress on that. And then I think that's it. Again, here seat has that long E sound. Window seat. Window seat. Next is emergency exit. Emergency exit. So seats located in emergency exit rows often offer, significantly more legroom, which can be a real bonus on a long flight. However, passengers seated in these rows have responsibility to be willing and be able to assist the cabin crew in the likely event um of an emergency evacuation. We cannot just, you know, we cannot pick emergency. We try to accommodate every emergency as much as possible because those are important. Now, when it comes to pronunciation, you emphasize on emergency, right? Emergency, and then there's also exit. So those are the things when it comes to pronunciation. Let's have a time to practice immediately. Let's practice. Let's have a practice drill. Now, let's start with the first one. Flight attendant, same pattern, same process. Make sure that you say the sentence on your comfortable space. Flight attendant. The flight attendant offered us drinks and snacks. Connecting flight. I have a connecting flight in Chicago on my way to Seattle. I have a connecting flight in Chicago on my way to Seattle. One more time. I have a connecting flight in Chicago on my way to Seattle. Are we getting that one? Make sure that you huh? We are practicing your we are practicing your how do you call this? We are practicing your pronunciation of these terms because these are very important. These are very important to you. So try to really master the pronunciation of the terms. Whether it's a word or it's a phrase. All right. Next is okay. Next is window seat. Again, window seat. The sentence here is I prefer to sit in a window seat so I can see the view. Again, I prefer to sit in a window seat so I can see the view. Window seat. Next, aisle seat. Again, aisle seat. Now, an aisle seat is convenient if you need to get up frequently. Aisle seat. Again, aisle seat is aisle seat. These seats are located right next to the walkway for convenience when you want to get up really frequently. Maybe go to the bathroom. Usually, you go to the bathroom, so that's why other people prefer aisle seat instead of window seat. Now here, an aisle seat is convenient if you need to get up frequently. Next is emergency exit. Emergency exit. Emergency exit. Notice the buzzing sound there. There should be the letter Z sound there. Based on its IPA transcription, if you remember. Emergency exit. All right. Please locate the emergency exit nearest to your seat. Please locate the emergency exit nearest to your seat. Emergency exit. Again, emergency exit. All right, I think that's the end for airport vocabulary pronunciation. So, based on the based on the slide, we've talked about 25 different terms and vocabularies. So those are a lot, right? Well, of course, um, it's very important that we know many words, phrases, terms when it comes to a particular context because that's how rich English is. There's so many terms that is only used on a particular setting. So we try to understand those terms so that we are really, very familiar with it. We do not want to mispronounce or even misuse the words on a wrong context. We do not want that. So that is why we focus on these things. Now, let's try to read the words again as much as possible. So let's practice it one more time. Not one more time. If I see that it's still lacking, we try to practice it another. We try to practice it again. Let's try to for a while. Oh no, wait for a while. My slide is acting out. Sorry for that. Well, for a while. Okay. It's stuck for some reason. I'm trying to move it. Hmm, where is it? Okay. Let's try to read these um words or terms for airport vocabulary pronunciation. Okay. Check in. Again, check in. Check in. Your turn. All right, good. Security. Security. Now the emphasis or the stress is on the second syllable Q. Q. When we try to spell how it sounds, it would look like the letter Q or just KYU. Q. So that's the emphasis. Q. Security. Boarding. Boarding. Again, boarding. Your turn. Okay, good. Boarding. I think it would be much better. Like, I'm gonna use these slides itself. So let's have the first one. Okay, right. So that it will really follow the sequence of how we discuss it. Okay, these are the first set of words, right? Let's have. For a moment, my throat is really drying up. Let me drink a water. Sorry for this. This just, for a moment, just for a moment. Wow, thank you so much for waiting. I'm sorry for that. I had to really drink some water because my throat is drying up and it hurts to speak and it might, it might result to sounding me very hoarse. I don't want that. I want that while you're listening to me, my voice is clear as much as possible since I really focused here on pronunciation and there might be some complications if my voice is not clear. There might be some complications in terms of the pronunciation of the terms. So, I'm just clearing out my voice so that it will be very clear to you. Thank you for understanding, everyone. Now, going back, These are the first set of words, right? Starting with check in. Again, check in. Your turn. All right, very good. Now, here the stress is on check. So, a little bit information, additional information for this one. Since we are using English, these are a series for English for travel, right? And for travel is usually not really that. There's still formal aspects or formal elements, but usually there's more informal elements, there's more laid back elements, or there's more conversational elements. So, remember, in conversational English or in a more informal setting, there are times that we use connected speeches or linking the words where we try to say two different words into, like, seeing it as one word, like they are one word. Say for example, in this word, this is pronounced as check in, right? Very separate. They are separate each other despite that they are considered as one word, considered really as one word because they are connected by hyphen. But yeah, um, we say it as separate. Check in, separate sounds. Check in. But yes, in informal settings, usually we can say it as check in. Check in. It sounds like a animal chicken, but yeah, since there's connected speeches linking the sounds, both the sounds together, we adapt how it sounds like in the, natural setting and the natural context or in the conversational setting. So it's really accepted when we say check in, not really separate sounds. But yeah, those this is the first word. Next is passport. Again, passport. Again, passport. So you stress on pass. Your turn. Very good. Passport. Next, boarding pass. One more time. Boarding pass. So here the stress is on board and also pass. Your turn. Boarding pass. All right. Boarding pass. Next is identification. There's many distinct sounds here, right? Remember, the stress is on ka. The fifth sound, identification. K. It sounds like letter K. Not. It sounds. It does not. You do not say it as ka. You do say it as identification, but you say it as identification. All right. Next is visa. There's a buzzing sound there. When we say buzzing sound, there's a letter Z sound there. So, this particular word is voiced. When we say voiced, one way to check it again, if you remember, is just to touch your throat, touch your neck. And if we try to say the word, the sound of the word or a letter, if your throat vibrates, then that's a voiced sound. So zzz, it vibrated, so this is a voiced sound. All right, visa. The stress is on visa. Okay. Next, for a moment. Oh no. This is the next set of words. Security. I think we've already talked about that one, so let's skip that. Metal detector. Oh no. Sorry. Metal detector. Again, metal detector. Your turn. All right. Metal detector. It detects metal. The stress is on the word detector, particularly the second syllable tech. Metal detector. Okay. Next is X-ray. X-ray. There's no buzzing sound here. It's basically hissing sound. X-ray. Again, X-ray. So you stress on X. Next is liquids. Liquids. Your turn. Okay, very good. Liquids. Stress on li. Prohibited items. Again, prohibited items. Your turn. Okay, very good. You'll stress on hib. Prohibited items. Again, Prohibited items. Okay. Next is boarding. We already talked about this one, so let's skip that. Next is gate. Very easy. Gate. So gate. There is actually a diphthong sound here. Remember, diphthong is vowel plus vowel. So this is this one, E and I. That's a vowel and another vowel. If we try to combine those two, we get a diphthong. A. That's the diphthong is A. So gate, gate, a, gate. All right. Your turn. Okay, good. Gate. Next is depart. Depart. You stress on the part sound. Depart. Your turn. Okay, very good. Depart. Next is on time. One more time. On time. There are two words here. On time. But despite that one, there's really none of the words are totally very emphasized. So they are both equally emphasized here. On time. You do not say on time or on time. No, not of those options. None of those options. You just say on time. Equally stressed. Your turn? Okay, very good. Delayed. Next is delayed, which is held up, right? Delayed. So you stress on lay. Lay. There's another diphthong sound here. You just you can easily identify where's the diphthong by looking at the IP description. Delayed. Your turn. Very good. Delayed. Next is arrival. Again, arrival. When you reach destination, the stress is on ri. Arrival. Arrival. Your turn. Very good. Arrival. Next is baggage claim. Baggage claim. There's two words here. Baggage claim. You stress on bag and claim. Baggage claim. Your turn. Okay. Excellent. Very good, everyone. Baggage claim. Next is suitcase. 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 There's only a hissing sound there, letter S. There's no buzzing sound. So we see it as suitcase. Your turn. Very good. So you stress on suitcase. Next, lost and found. Lost and found. So misplaced items. This is misplaced. Let me correct it for a moment. Thank you for understanding. Yeah, misplaced items. So there's also a same thing as with on time. Lost and found, there's really no emphasis, main emphasis on this one. They are equally stressed. You didn't say lost and found, lost and found, lost and found. You didn't say those options. You just say lost and found. Equally stressed. Next is customs. Again, customs. One more time, customs. So here, you stress on costs. So let's try again. Customs. Your turn. Very good. It is customs. Okay. I think this is the last set of words. Yeah. So we have flight attendant. Flight attendant, a cabin crew member. Flight attendant. There's two words here. Flight attendant. So you stress again on tend. Flight attendant, the second syllable of the second word. And yeah, flight attendant. Flight attendant. Your turn. Very good. Flight attendant. Next is connecting flight. Another two words. Connecting flight. When you try to transfer flight. Connecting flight. You stress on necked and flight. There's two emphasis here, necked and flight. So it will be, spoken as like this. Connecting flight. Connecting flight. Your turn. Connecting flight. Very good. Next is on. Let me try to see if it's all good. Window seat. Again, window seat. One more time, window seat. Okay. The stress is on win and seat. So window seat. Your turn. Very good. Window, seat. Next is another position of a of seating, which is an aisle, and we call that as aisle seat. One more time, aisle seat. You stress on the aisle and also the seat. You stress on both. Yeah, they're just equally stressed. Aisle seat. One more time, aisle seat. Your turn, aisle seat. Okay. Next is emergency exit. One more time. Emergency exit. There's two words here. Emergency exit. This is a safety door, right? Remember. And here you stress on mer and X. So there's two emphasis here. Emergency exit. Emergency exit. One more time. Emergency exit. Your turn. Okay, very good. Emergency exit. Okay, let's run those words again. Let's just, say it twice. Say it twice in a consecutively. Let's just read those words as fast as we can so that it will sound natural. I hope you're still here with me. Are you still here with me? Are we all good? Are we all clear so far? Do you have any questions? Again, if you have any questions, you can always type it in our chatbot and I will acknowledge it. I will read it and I will try to address your situation. Okay? But for this moment, let's try to read all the words or all the terms that we have discussed so far. Okay. Say it twice, all right? And then you say it like this. You read the word as like this. From check-in to flight attendant, passport to connecting flight, boarding pass, window seat, identification to all seat, visa to emergency exit. That's how you follow the words. That's how you read the words, following that pattern. All right. Check in, check in. Security, security. Boarding, boarding. Arrival, arrival. Flight attendant. Passport, passport. Metal detector. Gate, gate. Baggage claim, baggage claim. Connecting flight, connecting flight. Boarding pass, boarding pass. X-ray, X-ray. Depart, depart. Suitcase, suitcase. Window seat, window seat. Identification, identification. Liquids, liquids. On time, on time. Lost and found, lost and found. Aisle seat, aisle seat. Visa, visa. Prohibited items, prohibited items. Delayed, delayed. Customs, customs. Emergency exit, emergency exit. All right, everyone. I think that's the end. Okay. All right, everyone. That brings us to the end of our session, specifically on airport vocabulary pronunciation, which is the first area that we will be looking at on our series on English for travel. I hope you feel more confident now in, saying these key terms you will encounter as you navigate your way through the airport. We covered everything from check-in and security to boarding to arrival and even some important words for your time on the plane. Remember, pronunciation is all about practice, so don't be afraid to say these words out loud because the more you use them, the more natural you will become. And don't worry too much about, having a perfect accent. The most important thing is to be clear and understood. So, yeah, good job for today, everyone. Okay? So, just as I've mentioned again and again on our previous sessions, consistent practice is always the key to sounding natural and sounding confident when speaking English. So don't be lazy. Make an effort to really, you know, practice the things that we have discussed so far. You can always go back and watch this video on our website and try to practice with me using the drills that we have or that I have provided to you. You can always do that, okay? Are we clear on that? I think we're clear on that. So, we will be moving on to hotel check-in vocabulary next session, which is tomorrow. which is, another essential part of your travel journey. But for now, give yourselves a pat on the back for working through these airport terms. Great job, everyone. Okay, great job. Okay. If you have any lingering questions about airport vocabulary before we end this session, feel free to ask now. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. Any questions that you have in mind? Any clarifications that you want me to clarify? Or maybe additional inputs that would also be great. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think none for now. Well, let's prepare to shift gears to another area for tomorrow, which is on, again, hotel check-in vocabulary. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me and keeping yourselves engaged during our session. Thank you so much and have a great night ahead. Goodbye.